Hey, Mike, you want to go to a convention?
Yeah, sure.
Sweet, I found this cool one in Kansas City that, hey, what are you doing?
I'm preheating the air fryer.
Why?
Well, you asked me to.
Mike, I said convention, not convection.
Oh.
Why are you my co-host?
Hi, I'm Tyson.
And I'm Mike. And we argue with dragons.
Hello, listeners. This is Tyson.
And I'm Mike.
And Tyson and Mike have had a really long day, so pardon our tiredness, folks.
Yeah, don't get me started, man.
We rolled into Kansas City roughly 1 a.m. in the morning through hell and high water and severe weather.
Who's Helen?
Oh, it's Mike. Anyway, we had the absolute best day, though, at the Midwest Gamefest, folks.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So if you're not following our TikTok, it's at Arguing with Dragons. I did change it from the ad dot whatever, but it's at Arguing with Dragons. You can follow our TikTok page and our Facebook page, facebook.com/Arguing with Dragons. We've got some videos, some lives, and talked to a lot of vendors, a lot of good, passionate people about gaming. And we've got some interviews, some short and some a little bit longer, that we are going to share for our episode tonight.
Absolutely.
So, Mike, before we get into that, tell me, what was your favorite thing about today?
My favorite thing about today was just seeing so many people just enjoying themselves, just doing what they love.
I agree. It was a convention full of passion for games that I have never even heard of.
Absolutely.
That's the most amazing thing to me. I heard about so many tabletop role-playing game systems today that my head is going to explode trying to describe them all to you listeners.
Hell, there were even a couple there that were custom made by the people that were in attendance.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
I saw
So much creativity.
I saw so many homebrew published material that looked like it came straight from Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
Bound books and everything. More dice makers than I could possibly imagine. Like, you couldn't roll a 100-sided die. There was that many dice makers there. It was wild. It was wild. So I think one of my favorite things is that it was a stress-free environment.
That it was.
I never felt stressed out. I never felt overwhelmed. I just felt like pure happiness.
I felt like I was home.
Right.
In a manner of speaking.
So we may be 200 plus miles away from our actual home, listeners, but today we definitely felt like home. So this is going to be part one. We're here today. We were here today. We'll be here all day tomorrow and then part of the day on Sunday. And we'll be recording content every day and bringing it to you listeners after we get done. So we did get done roughly 7 o'clock tonight. And after the most delicious dinner at Red Robin, we are back in our Airbnb, sitting at a kitchen table right now, bringing this content to you fine listeners. So we're going to break here and we're going to go straight into our interviews and we'll catch you when it's over.
Listeners, Mike and I are live currently at the Midwest Gamefest in Independence, Missouri.
We most certainly are.
Mike has a Yoshi hanging from it. I had no idea he did this, listeners. This is news to me.
Well, it's normal for me, sir.
We are in the mecca and the center right now of Gaming Nerd Central. And I tell you what, folks, if you like tabletop games, whether it be Pathfinder, Starfinder, D&D,
Daggerheart,
several that I've never even heard of, this is the kind of convention you want to go to.
Yes, it is, sir.
There is a full garage sale in the other room, completely full of board games of every type that Mike needs to go see because it's pretty cool.
Well, if you give me a minute, I will.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, I am behind him with a whip, just whacking him over and over again, trying to make sure he stays on task.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
All right. We're just checking in briefly. Wanted to say hi, drop a line to the listeners out there. And we're going to continue to interview folks and talk to folks at the Midwest Gamefest.
Yes, we will. Stay tuned.
Oh, okay.
So tell me your name.
My name is Michael Howard.
Michael Howard. All right. Tell me what you do.
I am a commercial architect.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
All right. So you make buildings. He literally
All
builds
across
worlds.
the country and all across the world.
All right. So what brings you to Midwest Game Fest today?
I am running some games here, and I'm also heading up the panels.
Oh,
we're gonna
cool.
have.
Okay.
Sounds like a
We're
good
trying
time.
to teach people through AdventureU, the company that I work with, how to be better game masters, especially young people, trying to get them in because we are very concerned about the concept of the AI dungeon master, which is the evil clankers, as we refer to them. And we are not interested in that going on.
Did you know that the AI will block you if you call it a clanker? It will
I am aware of it.
I absolutely loved that. I thought that was so fun. No, it's very good to teach the younger generation how to be creative on their own.
Well,
Absolutely.
I started role-playing games in 1981, and I used it as a methodology to basically defeat the concept of middle school dating, and it worked quite well, I assure you. And so I've been playing all sorts of games since then, and writing scenarios for different game systems.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. So you told us when you sat down that you were a wealth of hot takes.
Oh, yes.
All right. So let's hear one.
Hot takes. I think I already talked about the AI nemesis.
Okay. All right. What else you got?
What else do I have? I'm ready to retire. How about that?
Well, retiring from gaming, I don't think
No,
any gamers ever actually retire.
I'm retiring from my regular job to take up more gaming.
Oh, fair
And
Just
enough.
bought some property out south of Lawrence, Kansas, where myself and the owner of Tabletop Game and Hobby here in Kansas City.
Oh, cool.
And he and I bought 20 acres, and we're going to basically turn it into Nerdvana out there.
Oh, man.
Nerdvana, I love it.
I love the sound of that. So what games do you run?
So,
What systems?
what systems I run? Tales from the Loop. I've also run Call of Cthulhu here at this convention. I'm running several scenarios for that. We did a game called Grace Under Pressure last night, which is a fun setup. I'm running a Learn to Play Call of Cthulhu tomorrow morning so that we get people in who have never played the game before.
Oh, I might have
And
to come
then,
sit in on that and watch.
Yeah, my favorite game system is called Fading Suns. It came out in the 1990s. It is basically the historians from White Wolf broke off and formed their own company.
Cool.
And they developed a sci-fi game based on history. And so they said, what if we took the medieval stool of society, which was the guilds, the nobility, and the church, and we flung it forward in time 3,000 years.
Oh,
And
I like
so
the
the
sound
game
of
is
that.
basically if Call of Cthulhu and Dune got together and had a beautiful little baby.
I love that. I love that. Well, hey,
I'm sure you note my tattoos. I like me some Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've written dozens of scenarios. I also developed sort of tongue-in-cheek scenarios for Call of Cthulhu. One is called The Janitors of Miskatonic U, in which you play the janitorial staff at the illustrious university that Lovecraft established in Arkham. And then also I do some westerns. One is called Happy Entrails to You, which is
I love that.
it's a cattle drive gone wrong, as you can imagine. Another Western that I came up with was called This Dimension Isn't Big Enough for the Both of Us.
I like that. That's
And
awesome.
So there's a lot of fun scenarios that
We got a friend who's he's reskinning 5e to be a western. He's calling
Really?
it Strange Trails, Whiskey and Witchcraft.
that's
And
amazing.
he interviewed on our show last week. He's super excited about it, but he'll love the sound of that.
Terrific. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so you said it was AdventureU?
AdventureU, yes.
Okay, so where can people learn about that?
We basically have a presence online at AdventureU.com, and you can look us up. We basically go around and we try, especially at conventions, to bring in young people who are trying to learn the craft of game mastering, or people who have experienced game mastering but are frustrated by certain things at the table, whether it be player behavior or how to pace the games or whatever they need. And so we literally just open it up to random questions.
Okay.
But we're running about 10 different panels here at the convention today
Oh, awesome.
and tomorrow.
Awesome. All right. Well, we can't wait. Well, thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, gentlemen.
Yes,
Great
thank
to
you,
meet
sir.
you.
Very, very
Great to
much.
meet you.
Wonderful to meet you both.
You as well, sir.
All right, so who are we sitting here with first off?
My name is Aaron Guerra,
Aaron. Nice to meet you, Aaron.
also known as Griffin DJ.
Griffin DJ. Okay.
All right.
So the DJ part, where does that come from?
I used to do LARPing, amp guard if that means anything to you, foam stick if that means anything to you.
I know foam stick.
Used to do a lot of foam sticking, and I joined a group called the Dark Jesters, and so to abbreviate that, I just shortened it to DJ.
Okay.
So my character's
Okay.
first name was Griffin, so just shorten that up a little bit to Griffin DJ.
All right. So
There you go.
You're running a game here, right? You said?
I'm running a couple of games. I am running some games of Dread, which is a narrative-heavy indie RPG,
Okay.
and some games of Blood Feud, which is a board game social negotiation for a large group up to 32 people.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
Cool.
Yeah.
All
And I
right.
find it difficult to DM more than 4.
Right. Well, it's not an RPG. It's more of a board game. So they have a structure and they have rules,
Okay.
but they're able to socially interact with each other through negotiations and trading and things like that. It's a lot of fun. I recommend if you see it at a convention to try it out. It is a little difficult to do at home, as it would require between 16 and 32 people to get the full experience. Little hard to get 16 to 32 of your friends to even agree on a pizza, much less
Oh.
what night of the week to give
Tell
up
me
4
about it.
hours
We
to
always
play a game.
We always say the BBEG of all games is scheduling conflicts.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, Aaron. So you sat down. You said you had a good hook and a good hot take. Let's hear it.
I do have a narrative. I think that narrative rules light games always trump complex systems.
Oh.
So
That's
I
an
would
interesting take.
rather have a narrative heavy rules light system over any of your D&Ds, Shadowruns, Warhammer 40Ks. You know, give me a rules light narrative heavy.
Okay.
Good
okay.
story over good structure.
Yes.
Absolutely. I am in agreement with that.
So I love a good story. Don't get me wrong. But how do you take a narrative heavy game with light rules and light structure and no like borders? How do you take a player who's obsessed with power gaming and how do you dumb that down for them?
Wants the numbers, wants the dice.
Yes.
Understand. Well, mostly when I pitch rules light, narrative heavy games, I start out by explaining that it's going to be rules light and narrative heavy. So anybody who is diehard, no, I gotta roll math rocks. I gotta have stats. I need a spreadsheet to run my character. Looking at you, Shadowrun. It just that automatically kind of sets those people up to either be willing to try something different or opt out and just say, nah, that doesn't sound like my jam.
Yeah.
So by presenting it like this is going to be, we're going to be telling more focused on story, less on system and mechanics. It just sets that individual up for that social understanding that this is what you'll be signing. And if that's not their jam, that's not their jam, and they can go their way, and they are very welcome to be wrong for the rest of their life. But if you can find people who are willing to, hey, this is hot takes. If you find people who are willing to engage with a rules light narrative system, or like, yeah, I'll give it a shot, or maybe they enjoy that kind of thing, then you signal to them as like, hey, this is what I'm running. This is what we're looking to do here.
No,
so
this
you
is like a hot take fresh out of the kitchen for me, and I love it.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
That's the kind of game I always try to turn a game like Dungeons and Dragons into, is a narrative heavy game, and then I find myself having to go back and rely on the rules a lot because of those players who are like, I'm gonna abuse this.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So-
I like somebody who likes to open the tome rather than roll the bones.
Yeah. If you can, rule of cool is a big helper for taking your more complicated Shadowruns or your more complicated D&Ds or Pathfinders. If you can get everybody at the table to agree, like, we're just going to rule of cool. Like, if you start to reach for a book, we're just going to rule of cool it. Then that can definitely merge the two. But I'm a bigger fan of narrative. Let's
absolutely.
dumb down those systems and make it intuitive.
So
Story-driven RPG is a winner in my book.
So for the listeners that may hear this clip and have never got to play something narrative heavy, give us a good example off the top of your head. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
It's not putting me on the top of the spot at all. I am here today at Midwest Gamefest Convention, and I am running, I think, approximately 6 games of Dread, which is a narrative-heavy,
Narrative-heavy,
rules-light horror RPG. It is designed to be a single session or a single sit down of 3 to 4 hours, where you're going to play a story from tip to tail and going to complete it in one session. So for anybody who has trouble, scheduling or has to, organize babysitters, and they're like, I can't commit to 6 months of Tuesdays. Like, nope, this is a one and done. Just hire the babysitter for this Friday night, and we're gonna complete a whole story. So it has the advantage of scheduling, because we talked about the BBEG being of scheduling. So it's only one night, and we're gonna tell the whole story and wrap it all up in a nice little bow.
Cool.
I like that.
So what do those stories look like then for 3 to 4 hours?
So the stories can look like just about anything you want. I've got one that I'm about to run a little later today, which is Marines and Machines. You are space, not your 40K Space Marines, but your Marines in space.
Okay.
Like Alien.
Like Alien, yes.
Gotcha.
Like Alien Marines, you have crash landed on a planet that had no life signs, only to find out that it's completely been completely occupied by robots, and you've got to fight your way through the robots to the drop zone to be picked up. So that one's a pretty straightforward. You need to make it to an objective, so there's some. You need to make some checks for stealth. You need to make some checks for fighting. Pretty straightforward. But I've also got things that are more investigative, a little bit more narrative. I've got one that's set in the 1930s, I think, which is you've been hired by a Mr. Smith, a mysterious gentleman, to steal an artifact from an antiquities dealer's home. He's paying big money for no questions asked, no questions answered. You're just supposed to simple break in, grab the artifact, and get out. Of course, it's never quite that simple. Our B&E people break in, things start to go wrong, the plan starts to unfold, paranormal things start to happen, and they've got to figure out, like, how do I escape? How do I get out of here with my skin? And then present that antiquity to Mr. Smith and collect their payment at the end.
It's the kind of game I would totally play.
So what does the character development look like for those players?
Sure. So Dread is a very original RPG. It's one of the most original ones I've seen. There are no stats, so your character sheet has no numbers on it. Your character sheet is a questionnaire. You're going to get, if you play in a game for me, for one of the conventions, I've streamlined it a little bit. A standard Dread questionnaire is 13 questions, which is a little bit long to try to answer at a table. So I've streamlined it down to about 3 to 4 questions. You're going to answer them short answer style, just like when you were in English class, 1 to 2 sentences. And they're going to be things like, why are you good at what you do? Why are you the best race car driver on the circuit? Why are you a cat burglar that's never been caught? Why do you drive like it's a second nature? Those kinds of things. Okay. And then there'll typically be a question that does some world building. Like, what's a secret about the location that you're going to? Who else is trying to grab the MacGuffin? What other people are interested in this item? And then typically there's a question that's something that the GM can use to put an obstacle in the way. You have an extreme phobia. What is that phobia? Some piece of your gear is going to fail. What is going to fail?
So they write the story with you.
They write a little bit of the story, so that lets them do some world building. They kind of know a problem that's in the chamber and going to hit them, but whenever is the right time. So the players get some agency to write some story. Then the stories are always a little bit different every single time. I've been thrown a few curveballs and had to like, how do I get there?
Yeah, because as a game master now, you're thinking on your feet even more with a lot more. Like, I know D&D sometimes feels like you got to be on the rails a little bit to tell a story, and then your players are just doing nothing but trying to get you off the rails.
Sure. Well, and that goes to GM style. Like, some GMs have a very preparation-based style. Like, they know who that BBG is. They know what his stats are. They know the motivations. They know the motivations, and they have the plans spelled out. They know what's under that rock 3 houses down that the gnome lives at. They have prepared everything. And that's one style, and that's great, because like if somebody asks you a question, you know the answer. But I tend to go on the other side of that spectrum, and I lean heavily into improv because I'm getting a lot of my answers and a lot of my, sometimes even my main character, my main villain is being answered by one of my players, and I've got to take those answers and try to weave them together.
And that improv style works way better for a game that is going to be over in 3 hours.
Right.
Yeah,
That would
absolutely.
work out.
Absolutely.
Mike, you got to try to run a game like this, I think.
I would like to do that, actually.
Check out Dread. Will Wheaton had a show on called Tabletop, and he had some of his friends on, and they did a episode of Dread. So you can very easily search YouTube for like Will Wheaton and Dread and find his adventure to get a little bit of a taste if you're someone who likes to watch rather than read. The RPG book itself is pretty inexpensive. I think you can get a PDF file of it on Drive-Thru RPG for about $12 if you're a PDF kind of person. The only other piece of equipment you're going to need is a Jenga tower, because the thing we didn't get to. Yeah, I saw the look on your face.
Yeah.
You
Mike
took me
had-
for a loop there.
No
Mike had
dice.
this total
Yeah.
look of
I know,
shock.
I just had this idea that it was a book, a character sheet, and that's it. But
No.
a Jenga tower.
Yes.
That is something.
Yes, Dread is a diceless system. There are no dice at my table. Instead, if there is a chance for failure, you are going to pull a block out of a Jenga tower.
Oh, goodness.
Pull the block successfully, and you have successfully done whatever it was you were trying to do. Were you trying to lift that car off of your fellow player? Were you trying to kill that zombie? Were you trying to sneak past, were you trying to sneak past the guards and not be noticed? You're going to pull a block out of the Jenga tower, and if you're successful, you successfully did whatever it is. Should you ever pull a block and the tower falls, that is the scene when your character is going to die.
Oh, goodness.
Real death is on the table.
Oh, wow. Well, imagine you're a world champion Jenga player.
Who knew that your Jenga
that's-
skills would pay off later in life?
And that's where those improv skills come in.
There you go.
I've run approximately 98 games of Dread. So I've learned how to kind of like monitor the tower. How stable is the tower when they're pulling? Is it wiggling? Is it solid? How good are my players? Are they just flicking blocks out left and right, no sweat? Or are they, maybe they're a little shaky and they're, as they go to bit or a little bit nervous? And you modify the obstacles, and you modify the number of pulls you're asking for. Because if a task is particularly complex, you might ask for multiple pulls. So you adjust those number of pulls and whatnot for the stability of the tower, for the intensity of the plot that you're in, as you have that rising climax, and the skill of your players. So you're trying to balance all of that while improvising scenes and sticking to what you previously had planned, and including what the other players wrote in on their questionnaire.
Oh,
I burn a couple calories thinking.
I bet.
Yeah.
So if somebody pulls the tower falls, does the tower get rebuilt for the next set of challenges?
Yes. Should a tower fall, you describe a wonderful death scene, and then you rebuild the tower. The survivors will then make a few initial pulls, so that you don't just start out. You can't be near the end of your game and have
And
a
all of a
fully
sudden it
solid.
became easy again.
Yeah, all becomes easy. So depending on where you are in your storyline, you will then ask the survivors to make a number of pulls to kind of destabilize that tower a little bit. And of course, if in destabilizing that tower, if it falls again, that's another death in that same scene. And it could just cascade into a TPK. I've never had a TPK, but theoretically it's on the table.
I can only imagine somebody going to pull a Jenga block out while they're fishing, and they have a hilarious fishing accident they could have told their grandchildren had they
I
survived.
was only supposed to catch a trout. What happened?
I ended up pulling up some unknown horror from the depths of the abyss that nobody has seen in millions of years.
So, what is the most wild thing that's ever happened in a game of Dread?
Oh, wild thing that I've ever. So I've run about 98 games. My average kill is about 1.1, 1.2. So I average just a little over 1 kill a game. Because this is what it sounds like when someone stalls trying to remember something.
That's all
Well,
right.
I do know that just today I was running a game where they'd run into some vampires, and they were trying to protect an innocent person from some vampires that had busted in from either side of a hallway, and they had some guns and they were trying to fire. So it was a pull to like gun down some vampires with like some regular ammunition. Vampires don't typically fall to regular ammunition, so there was a chance for failure. So I asked them to make a couple of pulls. In trying to make a couple of pulls, the player knocked down the tower. So I don't know how how squishy or squidgy should I get here as I describe things?
Oh, you can get as squishy as you want. It's rated E for not everyone.
Oh, sure. Just wanted to make sure.
NE for not everyone. I mean the con itself is a different story,
Sure.
but say what you wish.
Yeah, just wanted to know the spicy level.
Oh, you're
I got
good.
the spicy
Get
level
spicy.
down.
It's fine.
So, as he accidentally knocked over the tower trying to gun down these vampires with regular ammunition, he knocked the tower over. So, I got to come up with the way to kill this guy. They're holding off vampires at either end, protecting over an innocent. I decided that the innocent wasn't innocent, that they had been turned and no one had noticed.
Plot twist.
Up pops the innocent, jumps on him in the back like a backpack, and just starts squeezing with their legs and start to describe like ribs breaking and being dislocated. Reaches up and over the top of their head, grabs those front teeth, and just pulls the top of the head back.
Visceral.
Which of course starts little spurts of blood, which are just intensified as those thighs start crushing in, just like a Capri Sun. And
ladies and gentlemen, we're interviewing Quentin Tarantino.
that baby vampire just lapping up. The character's name was Walter, so we had a Walter fountain just lapping up as the blood is covering this brand new fresh vampire, and that
Who
player
knew
just
that Walter was
like
cherry
you.
flavored. Oh, that's awesome.
That is pretty great.
So that was
visually terrifying, but at the same time,
absolutely. That's another one that I can remember off the top of my head. They were exploring a haunted house, and the ghost was trying to tempt them with gold doubloons. So they'd opened up a trunk, and there was like several gold doubloons, and the ghost was speaking to the person directly inside their head, trying to say, like, take some gold, it's not cursed, come on, take my gold. And he was pulling, I think, to resist the temptation or to break the ghost's influence on him. And he accidentally knocked over the tower, and so I just had each one of the gold pieces become basically origamically fold itself into like little sharks or little cranes or things like that, and they just kind of washed over him like a tide, So all these little origami, gold doubloon origami animals rushed over him, just stripping fresh flesh from bone, and then dragging what little bits were left back into the trunk. The trunk closes, and when they force it back open, it's of course empty except for some blood stains and the ring.
So this system could be adapted to fantasy, modern, sci-fi, pretty much anything you wanted to, can it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not dedicated to a particular setting or a particular tone. Well, the tone is horror, but not a particular setting. So it could be a fantasy setting. You could be taking on a necromancer in his lair, or it could be sci-fi. Maybe you've been hired to steal some top secret data from a mega corporation. Or it could just be your camp counselors at a lake, and there's some axe-wielding maniac who has decided that no one gets out alive.
I just sitting here talking to you, I'm thinking to myself, man, I've got this really detailed campaign world I've made for D&D, and I think it'd be really cool to take my players and run them through a few Dread-style games inside this campaign world as little one-shots, just from random places around the world to help let the players flesh out parts of this world that I never even thought of.
Sure, hey, that's an idea for a holiday one-shot.
Yeah,
a Christmas horror. Why not?
It'd be way better than a D&D
Santa Claus
one-shot.
decides instead of good cheer and presents, he's going to dish out death.
Yeah. If I was going to set that up, I would probably set it up as low-level adventurers that have been hired to investigate a cemetery. That's going to be the premise. Now, what's going on behind the scenes is this is one of the final steps for a necromancer to start his campaign to take over the world in this cemetery. So some low-level adventurers who think they're just going to clear out a couple of zombies or whatnot find themselves face-to-face with a necromancer coming into his power. And that'll give you your lethality. It would make perfect sense. You are outclassed. And of course, they're going to figure that out as they kind of investigate. So you've got some polls for investigation. They're going to run into some low-level threats. Maybe some minions of that necromancer, and then maybe a zombie or two. and then it's going to start escalating. They're going to run into a mummy, or they're going to run into a wraith, and maybe they run into the necromancer themselves. Maybe they're not pulling to try to kill the necromancer. Maybe they're just pulling to get out alive.
Yeah.
Got to get that information, get that back to the king, so the king can dispatch some higher level adventurers, some real paladins and wizards to try to take care of this. You've got to get back to the town to warn the kingdom that this threat is rising.
A lot of good plot hooks in there.
Yeah,
I like
so
it.
Dread seems like with the Jenga Tower, it's obviously geared towards in-person gaming, right? So is there an adapted way to play it online?
There is no official way to play it online. However, I was asked by...
I was hoping there'd be a comma.
Yeah. I was asked by Midwest Gamefest and their other organization, the Role Players Guild of Kansas City, to try to develop a way so that it could be done online. So if you do go and visit to Role Players Guild of Kansas City, there are some Dread games online on their YouTube channel of me running Dread online. I dropped the various programs that could simulate a physics Jenga system, because the only one that was multiplayer cost like $20 a person.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't going to ask somebody to drop $20 for a single session of an RPG.
Right.
So I got with some math nerds of mine, found the people who had the highest math degrees that I could find, and I go, okay, guys, the average Jenga game is somewhere between 30 to 45 pulls. So between 30 to 45 pulls, I've got to simulate a tower fall. And I need to do it with something I can do online, like with an automatic dice roller. And then I pitched to them, it's like, this is my idea. And we went back and forth, and they ran the numbers, because they're way smarter than me with probability and statistics.
Those math people, I swear.
Yeah. I don't know it, but I know people who do. And we came up with, you do a D100 or a D90 system, because those online rollers can do weird dice numbers.
Oh, sure.
You do a D90 or a D100 system. Everybody gets 1 to 3 hit points, depending on how many players there are. The lower the player count, the more hit points. The higher the player count, the lower the hit points. When you roll the die, you track the number. And if you ever repeat a number, you lose a hit point. If you ever lose hit points, that simulates the tower fall. And my statistic people and my numbers people tell me that right about 30 to 45 rolls is when you should be matching you should have matched multiple times on a scale of 100 to 90.
Oh, wow.
And then we simulate the tower fall.
That's super clever, and
then
way
once-
more clever than I could have come up
Yeah,
with. I'm sitting there
exactly,
thinking in
yeah.
my head the whole time we talk, I'm like, how could I make this work with the
I
D20?
mean, roll a d20. If you roll a 1, you die.
You could do that, but I mean, the probability of rolling a 1 is,
One
what
in
is it,
20.
5%?
a lot
That's
more
a little-
so than a d100. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then once you have a tower fall or a death, you just wipe the slate clean and start out with a new batch of numbers. And everybody's working from the same batch of numbers. So if Bob rolls a 15 and Joe rolls a 12, and then I come back and I roll a 15, that's a match. So I lose a hit point. And then we keep going, and then maybe a couple other people match and a couple other people lose hit points.
That's genius.
And then
I
eventually
love it.
somebody runs out of hit points and we have a death. And you describe that death, wipe all the numbers, new fresh batch, and you just start right back up
That's
again.
where I was a little confused. I thought each person had their own Jenga tower.
Nope, you're running off the same
All
batch of
working on the
numbers.
same one. Okay. They
That
just took the
is-
game of Jenga and added a role play to it. That's great.
Yeah. Now I
love
only
it.
use that for online because obviously if you're face to face, nothing beats that tower.
Oh, no.
Watching that thing get destabilized, watching it wobble, the
yeah.
tension, like
The dread.
everything.
As it says.
Towards the end of the game, everything just shuts down and everybody is watching every single pull. I've had games where that ended with everybody standing up a full 1.5 feet away from the table because nobody wanted to bump the table. Nobody wanted to be in the way of somebody making a pull.
Man, I totally see that.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And the level of dedication. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Aaron, it was a pleasure to talk to you. I sure you got a game you probably got to get to, right?
It's coming up. I had a little bit of time. I saw your wonderful hot take sign. Wanted to stop on in, and I am a big advocate for Dread. If you get a chance, check it out. I believe the publishers are Dream the Impossible Dream, as the name of the publishers, and you can pick it up on what's the name of that website?
Drive-Thru
Drive-Thru RPG.
Cool. All right,
So-
you got any shout outs you want to give real quick before we go?
Shout out to Midwest Gamefest. If you're in the KC area, or if it's a destination you can travel to, you should definitely come. It's a great 4-day, mostly RPG con, but the board gaming here is getting better. If you can come on down to Midwest, I highly encourage you. It happens in what month are we in? Mid-April. Yeah, happens in mid-April. And then RPG KC, shout out to them for giving me the format and the ability to make the friends that I've made and kind of proselytize this game and get people into narrative-heavy roles-light games, which beat the pants off your complicated systems.
I love it. All right, thanks, Aaron, man. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
It was
Thank
a pleasure.
You, sir.
Pleasure to meet you.
All right, we are here with Anthony from Tabletop Tunes. How's it going today, Anthony?
Great. How you guys doing?
Doing good, sir.
We are learning so much about so many games that I didn't even know exist.
Oh, yeah.
And the culture here is just incredible with so much stuff all revolving around just sitting around a table with your friends and pretending.
Absolutely.
So tell us about Tabletop Tunes.
Yeah. So Tabletop Tunes is an adaptive music app for tabletop gaming, RPGs, board games, anything in between. I mean, I also use it, for cleanup time with the kids and other random things like that. Lots of different kind of games around the house. But basically the idea is your own video game soundtrack for when you're playing board games, whether it be D&D, Pathfinder, just like anything. I mean, we started with fantasy, but we've expanded into Western, horror, sci-fi, and going to continue with more and more genres, as we continue expanding and making more music for the app. But yeah, so everything's built to seamlessly loop, so you don't get any dead spots. You don't get any awkward silent gaps in between songs. Everything crossfades. Again, it's built like a video game soundtrack to kind of keep total immersion. It's got a soundboard with a bunch of different ambient loops, as well as one-shot sound effects, sword clangs, bird calls, explosions, those kinds of things.
Oh, that's
and we
wild.
got a lot of genre specific. Each pack has its own little soundboard that's tied into it. And then we've also got a soundtrack builder, which is just kind of a sophisticated playlist builder for creating, playlists for your sessions. And you can kind of create okay, I want a battle track here. I want a group of forest tracks here. I want just this one, maybe dungeon track to play on loop over here. And yeah, so it's kind of just like the ultimate music companion and audio companion for playing board games, whatever it may be, an RPG or just something as simple as, Settlers of Catan.
That's awesome. So is this like a Windows app, a phone app? Or?
So it's a mobile app, and we've also got a web app. I was just before this was messaging with the developer, kind of figuring out some of the quirks we found with the web app, because we've really been prioritizing the mobile apps right now. We want those to be, working. That's kind of our main focus. But I know a lot of more serious DMs, especially at the convention we're at right now, use their laptop and they want to use the web app. And so we want to make sure that we've got that compatibility for them as well. So we have, it's completely universal. We have both, and you can even use the web app on your phone if you want. But in my opinion right now, the mobile app is the best experience, is the most solid performance. It also, just because of native hardware, it's a little bit more stable. I mean, the web app doesn't really crash or anything, but you just get a little bit better of a result with the mobile app. But the web app we're working on right now as well, to kind of keep ironing it out and making sure, you've got the best experience no matter what platform you're using.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, can this link to Discord or anything like that yet?
That is in the works.
In the works?
It is in the works right now. You could, if you're using the web app, you could always do a share audio from the web app into Discord. There's also, like Voice Meter I use on Windows, which is pretty good. You could also use Loopback on Mac, although that's a paid software. Voice Meter is free on Windows. I should probably make some guides, actually, now that I'm realizing about it. I'd rather us just have the Discord app, the integration set up right now. Although we're kind of trying to do a few quality of life adjustments on the app and the web app before we go on with some of these more ancillary extensions right now. But that is in the works, and it should be ready sometime this year.
Awesome. Cool.
Fantastic.
So does this cost?
So we're currently, the way it's set up right now is you get access to about 20% of the library for free, and then you can do a subscription to get access to everything else. But we also know that everyone's sick of subscriptions. I am too. So we also have the option for one-time purchases for the different music packs. So Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3 is what we've got right now. Volume 3, we just released the Seafarers pack today, which is the second pack of Volume 3. The next two packs are Desert and Mountains, which will come out over the next couple of months. And so you can choose to either do a one-time purchase price for any of the music packs, or you can do a subscription, which is just a monthly or a yearly fee, and you just get access to everything. We are exploring some of the options of maybe some live features that would be subscription only. I'd hate for someone to do the one-time, purchases and then not have access to all the features. So we're kind of trying to weigh that, because we want to just, whatever kind of user you are, we want to make sure you're having the best experience possible. We're also maybe exploring the option of maybe giving a daily amount of premium tracks. Like maybe you can access 2 premium tracks a day, so you can at least kind of like explore the app, and you don't have to like sign up for a trial just to be able to get access to some of the stuff. Because we want, the reason I made this, me and the team made this, is that we want, just like I love music. I love listening to music, to all these kind of different things. I love writing it, and I love people getting excited when they use music. And it's like you go to a movie and you hear the music swell and the intensity. It just gives you those goosebump inducing moments. That's kind of what I was wanting to do. But for these kind of fun role playing adventures, where it's like, oh, somebody appears out of nowhere, and you just like you get the big stinker, and you're like, whoa, what's happening? That's kind of the goal for this. And so I want people to bring the most amount of joy with my music as possible. So I want people to be able to experience that. I also, at the same time, the real world is expensive, so we've got to make ends meet. We've got to make ends meet somehow. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have to charge anything for this, and I wish that we didn't have to. But the unfortunate reality is that developer costs and hosting costs can be a lot, and it's also, you can't
put anything out online and have it just have it like, you can't store, I should say, anything online to be free.
Like they say as well, is like, if you're using a service online that's free, then you're the product. You're harvesting your data or something like that. There's a lot of different elements to that. So we try to be as transparent and everything with the costs that are going into it. But I really think we've got some really awesome music that I'm really like and I'm really happy about, and I think users are really happy with it too, and we want to kind of continue improve the user experience as we grow the app and everything, and just bring that excitement, because what's more exciting than getting a heroic piece of music as you achieve something.
Yeah, no kidding. So you're a gamer, obviously.
Yeah.
What is your game? What is your game of choice?
Board game or video game?
Either.
Let's do both, actually.
Yeah, let's hear both.
Not at the same time. That would be awfully hard to say out loud.
I guess, is there a board game and a video game I guess like if there's a Witcher 3 for video games is probably one of the game changers, and the soundtrack for Witcher 3 definitely was a big inspiration for some of the music in the app as well.
The Skellige soundtrack, always right in the chest.
Skellige specifically. So the third Fantasy Forest track, it's called Luminous Lake, was specifically inspired by Skellige, and it's so good. I believe the composer for Witcher 3 and I went to the same school and studied with a lot of the same professors, Berklee College of Music. I'm pretty sure he visited when I was there, and I didn't even get to meet him. I was like, dang, because like my wife and I, it was my second year there, and we were just playing through The Witcher like every night. It was just so much fun. But yeah, I think Witcher 3 is probably, I haven't played it in a while, just because I'm kind of hoping that maybe I'll forget the storyline, so then I could go back to it and it'll all be fresh again. But it's a fool's errand, because I don't think I'll ever be able to forget it.
It's an unforgettable game. It truly is. Until The Last of Us 2 came out, it had the most Game of the Year nominations ever.
That's wild.
So yeah.
Probably that. And then for board game, it's kind of tricky. I mean, I don't do nearly as many RPGs as I kind of wish I did, just because I've got kids now, and I've been running some like little one shots with them, which has been pretty fun. Like extremely simplified. Like they've just I've just got like little pictures of their spells and attacks that they can do, and they point to which ones they want to do, and I'm like, I just kind of make up on the fly what they're doing in that. But I love Carcassonne as a board game. It's I don't know if you guys ever played Carcassonne before.
I've never heard of it.
It's like a map builder, so it's like these little square tiles that are of different kind of. It's a road or a city or any sort of geographical thing, and you just kind of build a map. And when you complete a feature, like you complete a road end to end, or you complete a city and close it in, you get points based off of that. And there's tons of expansions, and so I got like the Carcassonne big box, which comes with like 2 big expansions expansions and 11 little expansions. And then there's like 10 additional big expansions you could get. And so my wife and I will sometimes, we want to do what we call the biggest box we've ever boxed, where it's just play the whole big box plus all the expansions we have. And I think it ends up being something like 400 some tiles, if not more in that. And so I just love that because there's always so much variety, and it's simple enough that, like new gamers can kind of come up and play it, but then it's also, you can get into like the meta a little bit of like kind of building in and try to take over someone else's feature and score it before them. So that one's probably been pretty big for me for a while. And then just, any sort of fantasy RPG kind of thing, it's always enjoyable. Like I said, it's like I haven't gotten to do any proper RPGs in a long time, other than kind of running the kid-friendly stuff I'll do with my kids every now and again. But yeah.
So I tell you, I talked to a gentleman here earlier named Aaron. Mm-hmm. You should look at Dread. And
someone else told me about that earlier today.
Turn it into a less gory game for the kids, but using the Jenga style, the Jenga for the decision making. Yes. I can see that being one of the best kid games ever conceived for an RPG.
I mean, not that kids would be terribly good at it, considering they're always sugared up and can't hold their hands steady.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but it's almost more fun for them when the tower goes down. That's what they live for, the destruction.
Absolutely.
How are you going to kill my character, Dad?
At some point, you might just end up thinking it there. They may just end up thinking it's funner to destroy the tower and pretend to be Godzilla or something.
All right. So where can folks learn about Tabletop Tunes right now?
Well, our website's tabletoptunes.app. You could also check out, we got an Instagram page, just tabletoptunes.app, and then same with the YouTube channel, tabletoptunes.app. And that'll basically give you everything you need. We're on App Store, Android, and then it's the web app as well. And so on the App Store and Android, it's called Tabletop Tunes -RPG Music app, because SEO search results, it's better that way. But yeah, Tabletop Tunes. It's not Tabletop Tunes Pod, which was a podcast popped up with our name for some reason. So it's not that. It's tabletoptunes.app.
All right. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for your time, brother.
Yeah, thank you.
I will check your product out for sure, because I'm always looking for good music integration. So.
Awesome. Well, I think you guys will really enjoy it.
All right, cool, man.
Most definitely, sir. Absolutely. Hey, thanks for dropping by.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely, likewise.
Hey guys, this is Mike with Arguing with Dragons, coming at you live from KC Midwest Gamefest. I have got a guest. What is your name today, sir?
My name is Mike Chernevsky.
Mike Chernevsky. That is fun to say, Chernevsky. I love it. All right, so tell me a little about yourself, sir.
Well, I am also a podcaster. My podcast is called This Podcast is Uncalled For.
Okay.
And we touch on a number of topics, including but not limited to geek culture and
Perfection. Elaborate a little bit. What else do you, what's one of your biggest topics that you talk about most often?
Well, I am a independent filmmaker as well, and I will have a lot of my friends in the independent film community, both filmmakers and actors, come on, and we'll talk about things. I'm a chess instructor, so we'll obviously do some chess. I'm a big board gamer as well, and I've had board game playthroughs on my podcast.
All right. There's live plays and such.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun. And tell me about your career as a chess player and instructor. Have you ever successfully pulled off a scholar's mate?
Not only have I pulled off a scholar's mate, I teach. That's one of the basic things we teach our students is how to do a scholar's mate, and also how to defend against a scholar's mate.
All right. That's definitely something good to know if you're going to get into it. And really, the most experience I have with chess is I watched Queen's Gambit.
I've seen all of the Queen's Gambit as well. It's actually a very good series, and I do highly recommend it for anyone wanting to get into chess, because a lot of people have gotten into chess from watching that series.
Yeah, and I did read an infographic somewhere. I believe it said that people who have registered online for chess courses and learning how to play and chess sales went up something like 55% after that show aired.
Wow.
Something to that effect. Now, with that in mind, tell me a little more about your filmmaking. Any notables that are out there? Maybe findable on an indie stream site, something like that?
How about YouTube?
YouTube, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one of the oldest YouTube accounts in existence. And
really?
Yeah, like a year after YouTube was started.
Okay, that alone is impressive.
Yeah. You can find my material at Skidawg22. That's SKIDAWG 22.
Skidawg22.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to write that down. I don't have a pen, but I do have a phone. Oh, the wonders of technology. All right. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your filmmaking experience.
All right. So I've been an independent filmmaker in some way, shape, or form for 20 years. Got into it writing little screenplays in high school. I went to the same high school as Paul Rudd and Jason Sudeikis, by the way. In fact, Jason Sudeikis was a senior when I was a freshman there.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
A little bit of contact with the star before it became a bright burning one.
Well, I didn't actually know him. Because,
senior and freshman, it doesn't matter what school you go to. They don't really
interact unless they have to. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the same at every school.
Yeah. So I started writing screenplays there. A lot of them were science fiction and everything. And then got into college and started thinking, well, if I'm going to write these things, I might want to know how to make them too. So slowly but surely I got into filmmaking, started making short films and everything. Tried a couple of features. Did not go too well, but yeah, it's a very enjoyable. I know my path did take me to doing an internship with our local PBS station.
Okay,
which was a really fun experience. And if you are ever interested in television, I'm talking to your listeners out there. Please, for the love of God, consider interning at your local public television station, because you'll get a lot of experience there. You'll learn some vital skills like camera work, lighting, set design.
That does sound like a pretty good place to start. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Public access TV is definitely one of those things. So I'll tell you what, it looks like my co-host is returning. Let's get him on the line too. What do you think, Tyson?
What are we talking about, Mike?
We are talking to this lovely gentleman, Mike Chernevsky, and he has some filmmaking experience. He has his own podcast that he's been running for a while, and he's a chess instructor.
Oh. Awesome. So what is your podcast about?
Okay, so my podcast is called This Podcast is Uncalled For.
Okay.
Yeah,
uncalled for,
and it does have elements of humor in it, but I'll touch on a little bit of everything on my podcast. So I'll have local filmmakers and actors on. I'll have chess people on. I'll have some of my old high school buddies have been on.
Okay.
I'll talk with sports people, politics, pretty much a little bit of everything.
Cool.
Although I will go on and stress a couple of subjects I will not talk about are near-death experiences, anything having to do with women's health, or anything right-wing propaganda. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Those are things that are guaranteed to trigger people usually.
I agree.
Oh, for sure.
I agree.
Sure.
Plus, a couple of those I have no interest in talking about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Fair. No, that's fair. You got to talk about stuff you're passionate about.
I agree.
That's one of the models that we're based on.
Yeah, we're relatively new, so we kind of went to the bottom of the cookie jar first for like friends. Hey, who will come on our show, please? We're begging you.
That's actually how I started too. So
yeah, everybody's got to start somewhere, you know.
Absolutely, they do.
So what brings you to Game Fest today?
I'm actually a volunteer here. I'll be working the game library this afternoon.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So the library, tell us about that.
So the game library, you just come up, you see a game you want to try out, and it happens to be in the library. You can check it out, play it for a little bit, check it back in, just like your
you can basically
local
go
library.
grab one of these tables around the corner and just sit down and play.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now, they also have something called a play to win contest going on. So in addition to just standard stuff you can just check out, you can also check out a selection of games, play them, and that enters you into a contest to win those games at the end of the weekend.
Oh, cool. All right, so let's say you're shipwrecked on a desert island with 3 people, and you could only save one game. What'd you save? What are you playing for the rest of your days on a desert island with your friends?
Smash Up.
Smash Up. Tell us about that game.
That is a card game. It's made by AEG.
Okay.
And Paul Pearson is the designer. It is basically you take 2 different card factions, so 20 cards per faction, and you shuffle those together. That forms your deck for the game, and you're fighting over bases throughout the game, and the object is to break those bases, get the victory points, and get to 15 victory points. Now the base game is you have an aliens faction, you have dinosaurs, you have ninja, you have pirates, robots, tricksters, by which they mean like leprechauns and gnomes and stuff, wizards and zombies. That's just the base game. There are tons of expansions for this game too, so you could play with Cthulhu in one. One
Tell you what, you had me sold on dinosaurs.
Yeah. You can play with Kaiju. You can play with Will Wheaton.
Oh,
It's getting better and better.
nice.
And if you happen to have everything for this game, there are 100 factions right now. I'm waiting on 6 more to get in through the Kickstarter. But I had such a good time playing the game. I've been a play tester since the 70s expansion was the first set I play tested.
Cool.
Very neat.
All right.
I can see that.
All right. So tell Tyson a little bit more about your time as a chess instructor.
Okay, so I work part-time as a chess instructor. I started actually January 2017, so almost 10 years now. The bulk of my job is going into schools, like after-school programs, and teaching chess and all that. But I also work as a tournament director. I'm U.S. Chess Federation certified. I also help run the office for the Kansas City Chess Club.
Okay, cool.
So kansascitychessclub.com for all your listeners out there. Yeah. I've had the pleasure of being in the company of several of the best chess players of all time.
Yeah.
I'm talking, there's a photo that I took with Vishy Anand, who was world chess champ before Magnus. And very nice guy, by the way. And I also had the pleasure of being in the same room and standing next to Garry Kasparov.
I've heard that name.
Yeah.
I have heard that name. That's awesome.
Yeah. It was at the Truman Library, which is not too far from where we're sitting right now. They had actually asked the club, they asked my employer, hey, could we get some sets out here for some of the local kids to play at a reception for Kasparov before he gives a speech there. I think it's something to do with Truman's presidency. And I was the lucky guy assigned to do that. And a lot of the kids that showed up were a lot of our students. I got a photo of one of my students getting an autograph from Kasparov, and you find that at the Kansas City Chess Club Facebook page.
Awesome. So, in your experience with chess, it's a game mainly about strategy, tactics. Mm-hmm. How much of chess, though, is really about reading your opponent as you're playing?
Well, it does help to know a few tactical things, like making sure your pieces are always protected. You know, so if someone takes a pawn, I just take it back the next turn. You know. But fundamentally, 2 knights, 2 bishops, castle. That's what you want to do the first 10 moves of every chess game. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm always curious to know how much of knowing your opponent versus knowing the game helps you in a game like chess, where it's a pretty strict game of rules and movements, and in a real war, in a real combat situation, there's so many variables, and those don't exist in chess. So knowing your opponent and knowing what they might do next based on your move, I was always curious about how a professional handles that.
Well, I think professionals focus on just a select few openings, because there are 1,300 of those.
I know that.
Yeah. There's something called the Encyclopedia of Chess Openings. It's 5 volumes. They're all about this thick, and that's every single opening in the game of chess.
Wow.
All right. So openings, that's good to know. Focus on like one, or at least one for white and one for black. I'll give myself as an example. Since I've started teaching, I've started playing as well. I learned the Colle defense, Colle. That's an opening for white.
Okay.
Right. And on black, it's going to depend on how white opens. So if white opens D4, that means he moves that D file pawn forwards 2 spaces. Then I'll just do the reverse of the Colle. If my opponent goes E4, I'm thinking, he's going to try to Scholar's Mate me. I am playing Alechein's defense, which is simply knight F6. Okay. Protect that F pawn.
Okay.
So there's your chess lesson for today, is to avoid the Scholar's Mate. Make sure that F pawn is protected.
So you go to a lot of schools. Have you ever walked into a situation where you found somebody who knew nothing about chess and was just, after a few lessons, just caught on so well that you just see great potential?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Yeah. How old are the kids that you go in and teach?
So right now I teach middle schoolers.
Okay.
So 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Okay.
And again, that depends on the school district, but I happen to be at the school district I happen to be working in is 6, 7, 8. Otherwise, it's mostly elementary school. I would love to do more high schools and middle schools, but those aren't coming around just yet. So
I got you. All right. You got any other shout outs you want to give while you're on?
Let's give a shout out to the Independent Filmmakers Coalition of Kansas City. And let's give a shout out to Tabletop Game and Hobby in Overland Park, as well as the Cardboard Corner, also in Overland Park. If you guys have the time, I would suggest checking those places out. And yeah, that's about all I'm going to do for shout outs today. So
cool. All right, man. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
It's always nice to have somebody on here with some table game that's not necessarily RPG.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could role play as a knight or a pawn, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, I don't have a horse head, but hey.
Mike's just used to role playing as the queen.
Oh, I will.
I was setting him up for that one.
I'll bet you did. Hey listeners, it's Mike with Arguing with Dragons. We're having a good day here at Midwest Gamefest. I have an interview to do today. What is your name, please?
I go by Trinity Garden Cosplay.
Trinity Garden Cosplay. Mm-hmm. All right. So obviously what you do is cosplay, but give us a little rundown. Give our listeners a little rundown of what it is that makes cosplay special to you.
So I do a little bit more than just cosplay, but cosplay is one of my main things. The first thing is I started out as a theater kid. So, I leaned towards creating characters and being on stage. Stage isn't really a spot for me anymore, so I leaned more into the costuming part and took all of the things that I learned while in theater and started making my own costumes and crafting wigs and sewing and armor work and all kinds of fun crafty stuff.
That sounds like a good time, if I'm being totally honest with you. The costuming aspect is something I could never truly get into. I enjoyed LARPing a lot myself, but I never really got beyond a cloak and a somewhat colloquial-looking outfit under it, despite trying. Now, that said, I do know that cosplay can be a very expensive hobby. What is one of the most expensive costumes you've ever done?
So my current most expensive costume totals at $1,500. It is fully hand created from top to bottom. The shoes are cobbled with leather materials. All of the belts are made from deer leather and created from just a big old deer skin cut. There's like 10 different layers that go into the costume. The wig, oh boy, it's a mess now. It needs to be redone, but it cost me a pretty penny as well, as along with the sword that was created. Originally, that was 3D printed, but then we resin casted it.
Aha, okay. Now, when you go into making a cosplay, do you usually go based off of an existing property, like a character from a show, movie, etc., or do you prefer to make ones of your own design?
A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. I lean a little bit more towards characters that have already been created and designed, and take it as a challenge to figure out how to take a 2D character that has a very elaborate costume and bring it to reality in a 3D aspect and making it look as close to the character as you can, while still it being wearable, maybe not comfortable, but wearable.
Yeah, of course. I mean, some of those, I can only imagine it is a chore to take them on and off.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's got to be one of the hardest aspects of cosplay to get into. Like I said, I myself have never gotten fully into it, so I cannot speak to the topic personally. But that said, what is your con experience? What kind of other cons have you done?
So I am one of the department managers for both Planet Comic Con and Planet Anime. I run the cosplay photo shoots. I edit the photos and post them. So I have worked pretty close with our executive teams and all of our other directors to create such a great con experience. I also work with NakaCon and with DragonCon doing photo direction and photo work. So I kind of bounce around. I go to cons a lot.
I can only imagine so. I know that our listeners can't see, but you got a rather extravagant looking little flower hat on. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Looks like a little witch hat, nature witch hat, perhaps. Is that what it would be?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, excellent. Little all handmade flowers.
The flowers are not handmade. They were purchased from Joann's when they decided to go out of business. So I have a lot. But the flower crown I did make myself.
Okay.
I am a certified florist. Pandemic kind of made that a little bit difficult of a job to keep.
Absolutely.
So now I turn to fake flowers and adding them a little bit of whimsy whenever I can.
Whimsy is always nice. If you had, let's say, 2 pieces of absolute wonderful advice to give to a newbie in cosplay, what would those 2 pieces be?
The first piece would be it doesn't matter what kind of costume you have. As long as you are having fun, that is all that matters. It doesn't matter if you have a $1,500 costume or a $20 costume. You can purchase stuff off Amazon. You can purchase stuff online and make it look amazing as long as there's a smile on your face, well, given the character.
Where appropriate, of course.
Right? As long as you're having a great time and having fun, that's really all that matters. And the second piece of advice for newbies is drink water and eat food.
Of course. You don't want to Don't want to get overheated in one of those big old things.
Indeed.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty impressive ones that look like they are not breathable at all.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can attest as a friend of mine who wears a very large, elaborate, foam-heavy creations. She does not always account for fans or hydration.
Yeah, no, that certainly seems like it would put a damper on any good day.
Agreed.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little more about what you like seeing in good cosplay.
Good cosplay, the first thing I like to see is a good attitude. Unfortunately, we're seeing a resurgence of individuals that are taking the aspect that is fun about cosplay and making it so cutthroat in competition where it doesn't need to be. We're a community. We like to hype each other up, and while competition is fun and it is great, if you're going to take it too seriously, then you need to kind of take a step back and reevaluate what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Cosplay is about craftsmanship. It's about bringing characters to life. It's about artistry. It's about appreciation of other art, even your own. It could be a book. It could be anime. It could be video games. It could be a D&D podcast. It could be your own original creations, furries, anything like that. It's about enjoying the community and learning the craft.
Absolutely. Now, what would you say was the hardest aspect of cosplay crafting specifically that it was difficult to get into?
I'm a perfectionist through and through. So for me, if I can't get it right the first time, I get pretty frustrated. I will say shoe cobbling, not fun. Did not like it. Did it the singular time. I have never done it again. It was like a 6-month process of, I think I ruined like 3 shoe horns. And I was like, we're not doing that again. We're done with that.
Absolutely, yeah. I knew that there would be at least one aspect that was just not fun.
Yeah. Well, and it's different for everybody. I know that there's some of my friends that despise sewing. They hate it. I myself struggle with foam work. So I have friends that really enjoy foam work. Some of them really like 3D printing and love sanding. And I'm like, could not be me. I like the 3D printing part. I don't like the sanding part.
Sanding can be quite a difficult little experience. I do not enjoy it myself when I do woodworking.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's sandpaper is the absolute bane of my existence.
Yep.
But yeah, 3D printing sounds like it has a lot of place in cosplay overall. What would you say would be the funnest aspect of the 3D print in relation to what cosplay would have as part of it?
So for me personally, I really enjoy watching the prints come together because typically my props and whatnots, they're way too big to have just singularly on the bed. So it's broken down into many parts. I enjoy seeing it come together and being able to get to that painting aspect because for me, the paint is you're seeing the finish line, you're almost there. But I'm noticing a lot more that people are able to bring like holographic stuff into it, and they've got this new PLA that's actually a UV PLA that changes colors under UV light, and it's so stinking cool. It's clear under regular light, and it's colored under UV light, and it's so neat. And I can't wait to see how people introduce that into costuming, adding the LEDs and the servos, making things move. 3D printing is becoming very popular in cosplay, and I'm loving seeing all of the new and creative ways to bring characters to life.
Okay. Now, quick fire. Mm-hmm. What are your top 5 favorite cosplays to do?
My personal cosplays to
Personal,
do?
yeah.
Oh boy. So I'm really enjoying doing Team Rocket right now because I've got a good friend group that's doing Team Rocket.
All four of them? Jesse, James, Butch, and Cassidy?
So we have a group that does Jesse James, and then I do the Meowth for the group, but I also have a Team Rocket Grunt. And then we're slowly dragging one of our friends in to do Wobba Fett. But right now we have a plush Wobba Fett that James has been hauling around.
Sounds like a good time.
Yes. And then I would say I really enjoy my Shinobu from Demon Slayer. She is the insect Hashira. She's one of my most comfortable. I absolutely love her to death. And then, the Planet Comic-Con's fashion show from last year. I participated in that, and the costume that came out of that, the punk rock princess, was so good. Absolutely phenomenal.
Chef kiss for those of you who only heard the sound.
It was first off, it's very comfortable, and second of all, I have never felt more in tune with being myself than when I put that costume on. It was so good. Lastly, I would say Your Forager from Spy Family. I really enjoyed doing that one. Pulled me a little bit out of my comfort zone. Did some fancier photo shoots with her. But gosh, she's such a powerful character. How can you not just feel super emboldened when you put that costume on?
Well, absolutely. Now, what are your least favorite ones that you've done?
Oh boy. Farina from Genshin Impact, simply because it takes me 45 minutes to put her on and takes me about just as long to take her off. She is very complicated and I step on her a lot. For the same reason, Belle, Belle from Beauty and the Beast, her village outfit, the corset and the petticoats that I have to put under her dress, I get my heels caught in those petticoats a lot, and it frustrates me because then I have to repair it. What else? Right now, Raven from Teen Titans, the wig gets kind of uncomfortable after a while. It gets heavy on my head. And my hood never stays on because, of course, why would it not?
Oh, of course not. There's always going to be one part that's finicky.
Yes, of course. My current Eevee cosplay that I have is a leather outfit from top to bottom. It is made hand created with deer skin. It is very sweaty. It is very stinky. I've had it for many, many years, and I have tried everything other than sticking it in the washer because I feel like that would ruin it. It
seems like one of those things you wouldn't want to chance.
Yeah, so it's a lot of Arm & Hammer and baking soda to try and get the smell out. But
absolutely.
One more. Oh boy. Sukuna from Jujutsu Kaisen. The makeup takes forever, and I hate it.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the makeup. That's a part of it that I had not even considered. I'm sure makeup is a very, very large part of cosplay.
It can be.
And I don't know why that didn't occur to me. So tell me a little bit. What got you into the makeup aspect of it?
So for makeup, again, with my background in theater, makeup was very important for different show productions. And then while I was in college, I actually was a special effects makeup artist for a little while for our film department. So I worked with prosthetics and I worked with color gradients and bruisings and scar kits and all kinds of just being able to play around with a bunch of really expensive stuff while being a broke college kid. So makeup for me, it's no different than putting paint on a canvas.
Oh, absolutely. It's definitely an art form.
It for sure is. And I am by no means like as great at doing makeup as what you see for like drag queens. And I have so much to learn. Because like I said, I had a background in special effects makeup. So I can make people look really, really gory, but making them look pretty and making myself look pretty we're still learning that part.
Of course. special effects makeup is a different animal entirely.
It is 100%. I did a Bruising 101 panel for KC Retro a couple years ago. And people really enjoyed that, learning how to kind of put the colors in the right order, because you think, you go darkest first, not necessarily the case. Being able to look at a reference photo of how old the bruise is, how deep the bruise was, what stage of healing it's in, and being able to mimic that with makeup, and then
that
keep it in
seems like
place.
It would be a week-long convention all its own.
Yeah. That's what the horror conventions are for.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've never been to a horror convention myself, but I'm not ruling it out.
Yeah, there's Crypticon Kansas City is in August this year. August.
Might have to make my way back down here.
14th through the 16th, I believe.
14th to the 16th. You heard it here first, folks. All right. Now, final words.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best part about doing cosplay? Just by and large, what is the one thing you look forward to the most when you're doing a show?
I love being able to see my friends. Almost every single one of the friends that I have nowadays are cosplayers, and most of the only times I get to see them is at conventions. My large friend group, the only time I do get to see them all in one place is during Planet Comic-Con and Planet Anime. Most of them are guesting, so they are stuck at their booths and they don't get to leave. So I get to go see them. But the rest of the year, we are scattered around doing different shows, doing different Ren fairs, doing all kinds of stuff. So for me, it is genuinely, with cosplay, getting to see my friends and get to hang out with them and get to make cool content and get to make cool costumes, and get to see what new stuff they're working on and share the knowledge and network back and forth between our group and be like, that looks super cool. How did you manage to get that to stay? And then I get like a full dissertation in my inbox later of every single material that they use and every single like technique that they used. And for a crafter at heart like myself, being able to learn a new skill and being able to start a new skill with support and love of my friends behind it is one of the best things for me, and one of the things that keeps me continuing to do costuming and cosplay.
That all sounds wonderful, and honestly, it sounds like quite a subculture.
Yeah.
Wish I could be a part of it myself, but I have neither the time, the money, nor the capability. They say you have two left feet when you can't dance, but me, I got two left hands when I can't craft.
That's quite all right. Hey, woodworking is a skill all on its own.
Oh, well, the woodworking, frankly, is just joinery. It's basic stuff. But either way, I'm glad you could take the time to come over to our booth and give us a few insights on cosplay that we might not get elsewhere.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you, Trinity, and I hope that you enjoy your con.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
All right, we are sitting here right now with Dave. Dave is representing another convention here in town. Dave, tell us about it.
Yeah, happy to be here. So MeepleaThon, hopefully I pronounced that correctly. Some people hear meatball. It's MeepleaThon. It's a convention in November. It's right here in Kansas City at Bartle Hall. It's the Kansas City Convention Center downtown. And this will be our 10th year, and we're a nonprofit. And all the money that we raise goes to support low-income families and houseless individuals here in Kansas City. So it's a great opportunity for you to get your game on and to support a really needy group of people. We're sort of growing by leaps and bounds. Last year we broke our record, so we were at the Overland Park Convention Center, and we already outgrew it. So that's where we're at Bartle Hall, and it's we've got wargaming, card games, board games, role-playing games. We've got some special events. Some game developers are going to be there. We're going to do scavenger hunt kind of stuff, like the raffle we have over here. If you guys check that out, it's going to be that, but even bigger. So all kinds of like legendary bundles with some ultra rare games, some Kickstarter increases, metal coins, trips. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. We're hoping to hit over 4,000 people. So that's somewhere in the neighborhood of double to triple the one you're at right now. We'd love to have you guys if you want to be there too, because we're always looking for new vendors and exciting things like this. It's just a lot of fun. If you've been to Bartle Hall, it's a really big open space. So to kind of mitigate that for some of our groups like RPGs, we have them in a breakout room, and there'll be the special events area. We also do what's called Lavender Brush, which is a painting competition. So we literally have people that are expert painters from around America, even some international ones. We fly in to judge it. They will also be teaching classes. So there's a lot of opportunity if you're into that. There's plenty of intro classes, but there's a lot of experts as well. Gotcha. And it's wonderful. And that is in the spirit of Michelle. She's one of our founders. Unfortunately, she passed away from cancer a few years back. So we carry that on in her honor. And the money goes donated to a charity in her name. So it's a wonderful group. There's lots of like little things like Bardic Inspiration, and just a variety of groups that are going to be there. So all kinds of fun stuff for the family. So hopefully you come check us out.
Awesome. Well, that was a practiced.
Oh, was it?
That was a very practiced pitch, man. Because
I didn't mean it to be.
Oh no, you're good. Because I was sitting there trying to think of what am I about to ask him.
Oh yeah.
And he's just answering. I love it. No,
my wife puts me out front to talk all the time, so
well,
I have
you are
said those
very
words
good
a
at
lot.
it, sir. No, I love charity events like
awesome,
that.
wonderful.
I absolutely love when we give back. And one of my focuses here on this podcast is trying to give a voice to the folks that don't
I love that.
A public
I love
voice.
that. Yeah.
Everybody wants to interview the Matt Mercers of the world, but I want to interview.
Sure, me too.
I want to interview the guys that never get interviewed.
Yeah, that's great.
We want to interview the Dave Hickmans of the world.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I would have never known that happens in Kansas City.
I'm so glad I stopped by then. The charity we help, it's ATP. Their full name is A Turning Point. No affiliation with the national group. It's just a local Kansas City group. They're in Gladstone, which is in the north side of Kansas City. And if you or anybody else wants to get involved with that, we always need folks there too. We've got a clothing wardrobe, a food pantry, an academy that helps people get their high school diploma, outreach services that help people get connected with social workers, get their ID. Like if you're living outside on the streets a lot, you often lose your ID because it gets lost or stolen, damaged. And if you don't have that, you can't get into government programs. So that's really important service we provide. I personally am a director of what's called community meals. So what we do is we go visit the houseless camps and set up in parks, and we just create kind of a buffet line. And people come through and they get their food. We've got tents, tarps, propane, bug spray.
Wow.
If you think about you're living camping long-term outside, the things that you would need. So they go through a lot of socks and shoes because you're walking everywhere. There's a lot of those kinds of things that we try and help provide. So A Turning Point does all that. We also do special programs depending on the season. So we've got a back to school program where we provide school supplies and backpacks to kids that are going back. In the winter months, we've got our Christmas store, so folks can show up and they can shop. The air quotes you can't see on radio. Gifts to give to your family, so they're still able to participate in that. And we do fun things we've got a karaoke bingo thing coming up, where it's kind of a blend of those two. We do a trivia night. There's always something going on our campus. So check us out.
You keep hitting me in the heart.
Oh, that's awesome.
I started DJing about 10 years ago, and karaoke was the reason I loved it.
Is that right?
Oh, absolutely.
I like it, but I'm terrible at it.
I mean, I don't know anybody
people
who's
can
good
suffer
at it.
through it. Yeah.
That's one reason I got into it personally. This guy explained to me that ain't nobody gonna be judging you on your singing ability. They're mostly drunk anyway.
That's fair.
So obviously, if you're working with a convention like this, you're a gamer.
Yes, sir.
What do you like to game? What's your favorite tabletop?
My favorite, I'm a deck builder guy. If I get to pick the game, it's usually deck builders, and I'm a big fan of Dominion. But there's a lot of other deck builders out there that are great too. But that's usually what I go with. As a family, luckily I'm lucky. My family all likes to game, so we get together a lot. We do a lot of co-op games and legacy games. We just spent 3 years and wrapped up Frosthaven. It was 5 hours a night every Wednesday for 3 years. It took us that long. But yeah, I mean, those kinds of things. We do RPGs when we can, but we've got a large collection, a little over 900 games at our house. So I'm an envoy with Double Exposure. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but it's a company that sends you games, and then you go teach the games at stores, and then you get credit that you can get more games with.
Oh, nice.
So that's sort of perfect for a guy like me. So my game collection's constantly growing. Constantly. And it allows me to talk to people, meet new people, tell them about MeepleaThon, and it's kind of the perfect overlap for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you for sitting down and talking to us.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. You as well, sir.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and grace you with one of our business cards.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Well, listeners, those were some awesome interviews we had today.
Yes, they were. So proud to be a part of it.
Oh, I know. Thank you so much to all the folks out there at Midwest Gamefest who sat down at our table today and interviewed with us.
Absolutely.
We didn't go and chase down a single person today, folks. The interviews you listened to came to us and wanted to talk about their craft, their passion, their charity, all of the above.
Absolutely, they did.
All right, so we're going to be closing it out for the night, but Mike has a fun fact for you.
I do. 1 gram of weapons-grade uranium has between 18 and 20 billion calories. So you can eat it, but only once.
All right, folks, that's wrapping it up. We will see you tomorrow in Midwest Gamefest Day 2.
Yes, indeed. And if you're listening to this and you're going to be there, come say so.
All right, have a good night, folks.
Good night.